Welcome, everyone, to Tier Force Heroes.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Oh, it's the nostalgic ghost.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
I can do a nostalgia ghost.
It's actually Corey, just so everyone
Oh, good. I was kind of excited to
Sorry.
do a tier ranking with a ghost, but okay.
Sorry to
I
spoil
mean-
the surprise. It's just me alive.
For today's episode, it would have been like having an expert opinion, because today we're talking about Zelda's scariest ghost.
Ooh.
And that's how we're going to be ranking. We're going to basically do a tier list of how scary the ghost is to us.
How spooky.
Spookiest ghosts.
Corey's
Real
got
spooky
like a whole
today.
show planned.
Yeah. I can't wait for Act
Props and
2.
everything.
I think we should say it's not every ghost in Zelda.
No.
There are some that it's
lot of
already
ghosts.
a long list. But if you feel like we left someone important out, you know, put them in the comments where you would rank them, how spooky you find the ghost. But
Mhm.
you know, we had to cut it off at some point. So should we get into it? Should we totem time?
A spooky totem time?
Let's do a
I don't know if a
spooky
ghost
totem
can
time.
support me. I might fall right through.
Well, let's see if
You're
it works.
fine.
You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. It's totem time. I think we did it. We survived.
We pulled it off.
So
Hardly.
our tiers are, our lowest tier is doesn't scare me. They're not scary at all. Then up we got chills. I think I got them.
Sure.
Then we got above that a solid boo. A little scary. Ranked above that is ah. And then of course our top tier is spooky scary.
These are excellent tiers.
I think they're the best tiers we've ever had.
Shout out to
I
Gooey.
think-
These are excellent tiers.
Thanks. I was proud of myself.
I'd say they're the best tiers in the kingdom.
I'm gonna start it off because I want to talk about this fella.
Oh,
I
sure.
just think he's charming. It's the third row, second from the left. We got Alan from Oracle.
You want to start with this little dude?
Alan, I want to start with Alan. It's a ghost. His name is Alan. Look at him.
Look at Al.
He's
Nice.
a nice guy, actually. You
Yeah.
just gotta help him out, and he gives you the poke lock. He's just
Mhm.
like, hey man, can you go move my headstone or whatever so he can move on to the other life or something.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say that he doesn't really scare me. He seems like a chill guy.
He seems very friendly.
Doesn't scare me either. He's just so nice, you know?
He's definitely
So-
the Casper of ghosts, and as far as Zelda
The Casper
goes.
of the Zelda series.
Yes. Yeah.
He doesn't
Alan.
hang out with you. Yeah. Alan. Shout out to Alan.
Alan the friendly ghost. Everyone knows Alan the friendly ghost.
We had to get the most important ghost,
Well,
obviously.
That's the list.
Pack it
That's
in.
it, folks. All right.
Ooh.
I'm gonna follow up with. I want to hear both of your takes on Kamaro.
Okay.
Ooh. I mean, yeah, I guess
I-
he is a ghost, huh? Okay.
I think I would file him. There's a few that I kind of thought about this a little bit that I would put under chills. I think I got him because he's a little mysterious. You know, he only appears at a certain time. He's a little goofy, which is fun, but I still overall think like he's mysterious and his story's kind of sad a little
Sure.
bit. Not
I forgot
not
to
the
pass
scar-
on his dance moves.
not the scariest ghost, but I think he's mysterious enough, and he just makes me feel a little something, you know.
I bet
What about you, Nico?
if you were doing Kamaro's dance, you could be like, chills. I think I got him. You know?
Let's,
Like, I think that's honestly, that was my first thought too, because he's not like scary, but when you see him for the first time and you're just like walking around out in Termina Field and you're by the giant mushroom things and you're like, what's that music? And you look over and you're like, oh, look, there's a dude over there. Okay, let's go
that kind
say
of freaked me out a little
it's
bit.
it's
as a
like
kid.
a little spooky, but that's about it.
Not gonna lie, maybe it's just me. I would have put Komaro pretty high on this list. I think Kamaro's freaky. Komaro weirds me out.
Sissy.
That music and the way he dances and the way the mask is just like his head protruding off your face.
Okay, but we're not talking about his
Something
mask.
not right with that guy. Yeah, but it plays into it, I think.
Sure. Okay.
So do you want to go higher?
I would want to push to maybe at least Boo.
I'm okay with that.
What do you think?
Okay.
I was trying to.
I'll be persuaded.
That music is spooky.
That's true.
It is, yeah.
We use that
How'd that
music
go?
all the time.
It's a banger.
We like literally. I probably sing that every episode of Tier 4 Heroes.
That's our new theme
Why
song.
not?
Yeah, screw the whole like Triforce Heroes idea. We'll just go with the Komaro dance.
This is the Komaro tier ranking show.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna pick one that you can kind of see on the screen right now. His name's Pumpkinhead, right?
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
this boss I think is fun. It's a cool boss. Honestly, all the bosses in the Oracle games are like really creative. As far as like especially 2D boss battles go, but just like boss battles in general. But this dude, legit kind of spooky, because the way he like runs when you've got his head,
Pretty spooky.
you got his head, and he's like running around without his like a headless horseman kind of dude, running around, and he's like, "Give me my head back." That's a little spooky.
Yeah, it's like a little. The thing that makes it a little less scary to me is he has a little. He's like underneath. He's like a little guinea or poe or whatever, and he's kind of like this little guy. So
Are you
for
not
me,
afraid of
it's-
little guys?
Hey,
Little guys aren't scary.
the Child's
You heard it
Play
here first.
series has shown that there's some scary little guys out there.
There are some scary little guys out there.
No, but he's like, I don't know. He's like, it feels a little bit like Wizard of Oz, where it's like, oh, we've seen behind the curtain.
He's faking it.
But I would totally, I do
That's fair.
respect
That is a good point.
him saying he's spooky.
It-
I can
He
see
doesn't. It's not that he doesn't scare me, and it's not that he's spooky scary. He's definitely in a middle tier, for sure.
it. Where would you?
I think
where
I
would you
would-
go?
Corey?
I think I would go either Boo or Chills. I think I got him because he's definitely got a little spook factor, but he is also pretty goofy. Not to the point where I look at him and I'm like, you don't scare me. Because like if a big old pumpkin head guy came towards me, I'd be like, whoa, back off, man.
True. He is large. Size
Yeah,
size
big
is
head.
kind of a thing here. He's a big body with a little dude inside.
I'd be
Probably one
happy
of the
with
most
either.
Halloween-y guys on this list too.
Yeah.
He's the king of Halloween in the Zelda series for sure.
This is actually Jack Skellington. The king of Halloween Town. Is that what his title is? I don't know.
Yeah, that's his official
Yeah.
designation.
I think you talked me down. I think I would put him in Chills. What do you guys think?
That
I'm
sounds
gonna
good to
go
me.
with that.
Good with Chills?
Yeah.
We got him.
Fits.
Okay, what are we gonna do next?
Back to you.
There's one that he just kind of kept leaping out to me, but I wanted to do. We have a few that are kind of like representative of multiple games
A
and
group yeah.
Yeah.
So I got the guinea guy in there with his big old one eye, kind of representing guineas throughout the series. I wanted to represent them because they're the ghosts in the original Legend of Zelda.
Mhm.
And I always I love them, like their design and everything is like how goofy they are. And so I don't know. I think they're spooky in like a fun way. They're not the scariest enemy, but I just think they're fun and classic, if not a little silly. What do you guys think?
Well, I would say one giant eye and one big tongue hanging out. It would classify as a little silly.
I like them. I don't know. I think they can be a little spooky, depending on the scenario.
Trying to think of,
But overall, they're friendly looking guys.
yeah. It's like
There's like-
Mike Wazowski without feet.
Yeah, he's
And a
kind of
big
cute.
tongue.
I think like there's like the big guinea mini
Yeah.
boss in Spirit's Grave, I think too, and he's like, I don't know, they just kind of got like a cute little face, so they're hard to be totally scared of, but they're not as like chill as Alan, for example.
Oh,
You know,
they're definitely not as chill as Alan, but they have a
think
bit
they
of a
kind of-
spook.
I don't know if they're
Spook
this
factor.
scary, but I feel like they embody the boo.
You know what? I would kind of agree.
I think I'd be down with that. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
just imagine seeing a single eyeball that large in person. How terrifying would that be?
I actually think they are a pretty scary enemy in the first one. They can mess you around if you're not paying attention, you know?
You like bump into a grave and one pops out or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
Like,
like-
yeah.
Spooky.
What have I done?
Oh no, what have I done?
All right. Let's do one who's not an enemy. He's your friend. It's King Rhoam Bosphoramus Hyrule.
King Rhoam Bosphoramus Hyrule. What a guy.
We also talked about, we didn't include them, but like kind of the champions in Breath of the Wild kind of appear to you in a similar
Yeah,
way.
they're kind of ghosts.
But I feel like they're kind of similar of a thing, and he's like the main guy you
Yeah.
interact with.
Spoiler, he's a ghost.
He dead.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Rhoam? Rome's not very scary, but there's a little bit of a spook factor, maybe. He kind of just pops up in a bunch of different places
Well-
on the Great Plateau, and you're kind of like, whoa.
He is our
How you doing that,
girlfriend's.
man?
He is our girlfriend's dad, so that's kind of scary.
And that's spooky.
I think it's a
Put him in
similar
S.
thing. It's S. Oh.
S for spooky scary.
He's like, these are the rules for dating my daughter.
First, you must complete these 4 shrines.
Oh my gosh.
I'm thinking chills. It's more of the emotion factor. I'm thinking again, where
I could see that.
you know,
Yeah.
it's less about the scariness, but the fact that he does he draws a little bit of something out of you with
He
his
does.
like his tragic backstory or something.
I do remember the first time I played Breath of the Wild, and you do the shrines, and then he's like, meet me at the point in the X, and he like just disappears right in front of you. I was like, what the heck is going on here? That was a little bit of a chills. I think I got him moment.
That's a little, ooh.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd be down with that.
I could say chills.
All right. Chills.
But King Rhoam Bosphoramus Hyrule.
Filling out the bottom of the list.
You know what? That's fine. And it's not that they're low tier, they're just not scary. They're not spooky scary.
Spooky.
However, the next one is on the spookier, scarier side, in my opinion. I'm talking about them.
Yeah, I think some people would say they're aliens. They clearly come from
They're
outer
definitely
space.
aliens, but the
Alien
game calls
ghosts.
them ghosts. So,
They're like-
Sometimes,
Undead aliens.
yeah,
Pretty much.
totally.
Ghosts from outer space. Space
I wanna-
ghosts.
Space
since
ghosts.
I just got done talking about it, so I want to plug it. But if you go, we're doing some spooky stuff over on my podcast, Backtracking, where we talk about
Do it.
Star Trek. And
Right here.
sometimes the line between a ghost and an alien is thinner than you think.
Very thin.
So I think it fits.
Corey, you
I
have,
think they're.
you have ghost orbs in your camera, Corey. I just saw a ghost orb in your camera.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
This episode is being haunted live.
This is
This
a found
episode
footage.
is haunted for you by our good
Haunted
friend.
for you.
These
yeah.
are spooky, scary.
I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, a ghost.
I would agree though. Ghosts and aliens, like you said, especially in stuff like Star Trek, that line could be very thin. And in this case, it's basically non-existent. They're the same thing. So
So how high are you thinking for them?
here's the thing. This year at the marathon was my first time ever beating them without a map. I have always used the map to know like where they are because it does little dots and it like shows you how close they are.
yeah.
I've always done that, and everyone was like, "Just don't use the map." That was one of the scariest Zelda experiences in my life. Is fighting them and trying to survive without using a map. I will like legit. I was hyperventilating on that couch. So in my head, even just playing it a few months ago, they're spooky scary, especially because they literally kidnap a child and brainwash her. Like they're spooky scary. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think they're spooky scary, top of the list.
Yeah.
That's just a super scary situation, and like you're saying, even with the map with the little dots, they just keep popping up everywhere all over the place, and it's like, oh my god.
Also, they're based on like the aliens from, I don't remember which one it is that they're based off of.
No,
They're based on the Flatwoods Monster or something, right?
Yeah.
From West Virginia.
Don't
Shout out to
don't say it.
shout out to West Virginia.
shout out Corey. Shout out to West Virginia. Ooh. But yeah, I would say spooky scary. Gooey, what do you think?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, 100%.
Easily. Didn't even have to think about that one.
Boom, spooky scary, top of the list.
Let's talk about Boo.
Boo.
We got Boo.
Well,
from the Mario games.
I feel like it is required to go in a specific tier. Can you guess which one?
Yeah, I guess so.
But
this one's weird because like it's in one room in the entire Zelda series.
Yeah.
But there's Boo, so we had to include it. Do you think it's Boo?
Well, the scariest part is like, why are there Mario characters in my Zelda game?
And by then you've already been dealing with Goombas, you know.
Yeah. Freaking Kirby is in your game for some reason.
Oh, we got werewolves in our video.
Yeah,
We've got werewolves and ghosts. Corey, your place is terrifying.
It's haunted. I told you.
It's a scary.
It's on
for this episode.
It's on some weird old ancient
burial grounds.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I would put Boo in Doesn't Scare Me, I think.
Really?
Boo, like, in the Zelda series, like...
Let's think about
What?
let's think about that room, though. Let's talk about this room. In
Sure.
Yeah,
Bottom
that's
Grotto.
actually specifically why, because I think that's a super lame mini-boss.
It's not a mini-boss, though. It's
They
just
kind
a
of
room.
are. You beat,
go into
yeah,
the
but
room-
you fight them, and then you get the item from them. That's where you get the
Yeah.
gloves.
It's not the warp, though. But it's
Yeah,
like you
you're
go
right.
in there, though, and they're in between you and the thing you gotta like light up to kill them, you know, and it's dark, and so there's a bit of a and when you hit them, they don't die, you know, so they vanish and reform. So I feel like there's a little bit of, if you go in there for the first time ever, it might be a little bit like take you off guard, you know.
I could see that. But then you light the torches, and they're just
They
all,
run
they're
a-
not
they
even
run
scary
away.
anymore. They're running away.
Well, that's just what boos are. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
So does
Okay, that's
mean,
fine.
I think chills.
I wouldn't put a boo on the same level as Alan.
Yeah, I feel like
Alan's much nicer than any Boo.
there should be like a oh, they seem nice category. That's below doesn't scare me.
Would be friends with.
I mean, if you want to go D or doesn't scare me, that's okay.
I would say they give at least chills.
Yeah, you guys talk me up a little bit. We can
Yeah.
do chills. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Corey.
To me.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do another boss. Let's do our buddy Jalhala.
Ooh.
What do you guys think of Jalhala?
I clicked on a bunch of weird stuff. Okay, we're good. What are your thoughts?
He doesn't
I
really
think-
freak me out too much.
Jalhala's only in 2 games, I think. And in Wind Waker, he's not very scary. He's not a very hard boss. It is a little scary that he can like breathe fire at you, but other than that, not super scary. But I think one of the scarier things in the series is actually his boss fight in Four Swords Adventures. Because when you damage him, his face like zooms in super close, all red, and that's actually terrifying.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I kind of forgot that was
this changes all the math in my head.
It kind of evens it out a little bit for me. So I would honestly probably put him in Boo or maybe Chills.
No, I respect that. I'd be fine with Boo. I was gonna say doesn't scare me, and then you dropped Four Swords Adventures, and dang,
it's important. It's important to remember because, like, if this were just Wind Waker, I think I might agree with you. But that face popping up, that's very scary.
That mask is also kind of freaky. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It is like
you don't really get a good look at it in the Wind Waker. But
yeah, I mean, you do after you beat him. And it like goes up into the light and explodes, but like that's about it. Because you beat him so fast in the Wind Waker, especially if you have the hurricane spin.
And the way you beat him is silly.
It is.
He's like, "Oh no,
it's goofy.
Don't
it's very goofy.
Into the spikes."
Yeah, he's like,
are you Bowser? What's?
It is it's like Super Mario 64 Bowser fight, but easier. I'm gonna go with a buddy Dampé.
Ooh.
Our pal.
Little Dampé action.
Who is indeed a ghost.
I have a pro scary argument for him.
Okay, go for it.
I feel like he's already a little spooky.
Yeah.
Before he dies.
He's freaky even when he's not a ghost.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dampé in later games is a bit more. I mean, he's a little silly. Once you finally meet him as a ghost, you're like, okay, he's kind of a goofy guy. But when you're a kid and he's like, he's like, he only appears at certain times of the day or like at night, and like he kind of freaked me out a little bit,
Sure.
I think he's like meant to be like the scary gravedigger guy. Like the kid in Kakariko Village is kind of afraid of him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so I think there is some spookiness and mystique to him. And I think it becomes like a punchline, and it's kind of funny when you become a kid. I mean, it's cool. You find his grave, but he's like, all right, let's race,
It is kind of silly.
So he's not the scariest, but he's a little spooky.
He's definitely doesn't scare me, because as a kid, I was definitely like, oh, this is like a creepy character. But there's
some spook factor there.
Good guy overall.
Yeah.
Dampé's good.
It still scares me a little bit.
He can
even when he's goofy, I'm still a little like, all right, keep your distance, Dampé.
So what do we think? He's like a B or a C.
Yeah.
A Boo
I think
or Chills.
I would go Boo.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. I could go Boo.
Let's go Boo.
Dampé.
Let's go Boo.
Let's go Boo. Perfect. All right.
Is it me now?
Goo, it's back to you.
I don't know who to talk. How about I want to talk about Bongo Bongo. Because this is another one where it was kind of I was like, what is Bongo Bongo? It said a spirit shadow beast. There's probably also a fine line between like demon and ghost.
Fair.
And he's probably more on the demon side. Or
okay, I can see that.
I don't know. So
monster.
But he's pretty dang freaky. I think. I think just the imagery really is honestly pretty freaky.
Well, yeah.
It's kind of funny that he's down there playing a big old drum.
That's true. Drums can be scary.
He's like, he's kind of this like eldritch beast. I don't know. It's freaky.
Yeah. He's like a scary decapitated thing.
Yeah, he's like a giant human torso that the neck is a giant eye with flaps. His hands have been cut off, and they're playing a giant drum, which drums are scary. Have you seen the movie Jumanji? Like, I think he's spooky scary, in my opinion. If you actually look at him, he's kind of terrifying. His actual design is scary.
He's literally like a person that was in like like stocks or stockades or whatever,
Yep.
and then just got all of them chopped off at once.
Yep.
It's pretty dark. And I
Makes
don't know
sense.
if this is. I was
What?
gonna say I don't know if this is like how much of this is like theories I've watched or if it's actual lore in Ocarina of Time, but it's like there's theories that like this Bongo Bongo is somehow related to like the Lens of Truth, and like back in the day, like some of the stuff that you find in the bottom of the well, like it was some guy who did something and got executed for it and has been haunting that area.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting lore there. The scene where like it busts out of the well too is a pretty freaky scene.
Yeah.
Like one of the standout scenes in the game. So I'm
Definitely.
down with spooky scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Spooky scary.
Remember, this game was for children.
Yeah.
We gotta scare kids a little bit.
Jeez Louise.
I'm gonna go other end of the spectrum. One that I think is definitely doesn't scare me. I think maybe could be fought up to chills, and that's Spirit Zelda.
Okay.
She's just a great she's a really good companion.
She
and
is.
she's a nice friend. And she's
She's
really
like-
cute.
She's like Alan, a good bud.
She is like Alan.
I would agree. Look at them.
Zelda and Alan could hang together.
He's waving at her, and she's kind of scared of him.
I think of like
she's
in the game you're like high-fiving each other
Yeah.
and stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
She's a
And
ghost
she's not
because she
she's not
has to
dead.
be. Yeah.
It's her spirit, but like her body's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like she's like a part-time ghost.
part-time ghost, yeah.
This could be like a 90s sitcom. The Legend of
is
Zelda, part-time ghost.
I think I could be talked up into chills too, just because the thought of like her soul being ejected from her body and then her body being used to revive like a demon and she might never get her body back. That's kind of scary.
She does.
But at the same time,
possess
she fits so
things.
well there with Alan that I kind of want to keep her there.
No.
Yeah. Like she possesses the suits of armor and everything like that. But like that's fine. That's not that spooky. It was required.
It's for fun and games.
Yeah. It's a video game. People. Stop being scared.
This is Zelda.
Yeah.
No one dies in Zelda.
Nope, no one has ever died in Zelda. I'm good. That's very untrue. I'm going to pick another Majora's Mask one because I'm just rolling with it, man. We're gonna do, well, I guess it's not just Majora's Mask, but Sharp and Flat. I'm assuming this is representing Sharp and Flat.
Yeah, I just
The
picked
Composer
one.
Brothers.
The Composer Brothers, thank you. I would say in Majora's Mask, they're actually a little spookier.
Oh, big time.
Because
think
in
so.
Ocarina of Time, they're like, okay, you exist.
Well, it's a little freaky because you go into their tomb and just like
The place is
setting-
scary, but like
Yeah, the
they're
Setting is
not.
scary.
They're
They're just
I've always thought they're like, hi, I'm Sharp and I'm Flat. And we're gonna teach you a song. Like it's not that scary. But then in Majora's Mask, he's like, I have put a curse upon this land, and it's just like,
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
he literally.
That's even just like half of the brothers too.
Yeah,
it's just like one of them.
Woof. I mean, the other one helps you.
One of them's just really angry.
Yeah, so it's like that's a little scarier. I really like Sharp. I think they're funny characters. Like they're silly, but there is that spook factor in Majora's Mask. So it's definitely, I would say, above C,
okay.
but probably not.
not-
I actually
Yeah, I would say maybe Boo. Maybe sorry, Boo.
You would say Agu?
No, he said
No, it's
not.
not.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I was gonna say I've always kind of thought, even with like the Majora's Mask part, I've always kind of thought they were just pretty goofy. And in Majora's Mask, it's like a
He was holding that
doesn't-
child hostage in her home by not letting that water flow. That's not scary to you?
I never really made the connection there actually, and I never really was like that. Oh, that's his fault.
It is.
Do you think he knows though? Like,
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like if he told him, he might be like, "Oh man, I feel
No,
bad."
if you
now."
told him, he'd be like, "Perfect, my plan is
He'd be like,
complete."
"Good."
It's not even too that he like tries to fight you, because you fight him in Ocarina of Time if you look at their grade.
Yeah.
But he's sucking the life out of you. You know, that's what does it.
That's pretty spooky. I don't know. I would think maybe like chills, but I think I could be, if you guys want to go higher, I'd be okay with Boo.
I think Boo is a good compromise.
I wasn't gonna let you talk it down from Boo. After all, I control it. You literally cannot make me change it. So
I use my mind powers. I use my ghost leap.
oh yeah, I better be careful. You might sick your ghost on me.
Yeah.
Goo, it's back to you.
Let's do King Mutoh from Phantom Hourglass. I honestly, I remember.
Yeah, I wondered
him.
why you added him.
Corey suggested it because he was
Yeah.
one.
He's a prevalent, pretty much just because he's like a specifically designed named character. I was like,
Well, it's
and that's the whole thing, is that he's the ghost.
a whole like portion. That's like a whole dungeon, and you meet all these other.
It's his
ghosts.
temple, yeah.
That's true.
You meet a bunch of other ghosts and stuff, so it has that. I just feel like the game. It's Phantom Hourglass isn't just not really ever that spooky, even when you have a ghost ship. Maybe we should have had that on here.
The entire ghost ship would be
The entire ghost ship. But you know what I mean? Like, it's never really, ooh, this is spooky, you know? And this is, I don't know, out of all the like ancient spirits and stuff you talk to, like it never really was a standout for me. Like, I like the temple and I like the puzzles and stuff, but just the ghost factor doesn't really factor into why I like it that much.
Never really spooked you.
It's just fun. You know?
I feel like it's been a while for me, but I feel like one of the only things that might redeem him is I don't think they ever really play him as Goofy. Like, I think pretty much the whole time they're like, he's a ghost, and that's a little spooky.
Yeah.
But that's it. I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
I don't think he's Goofy.
No, he's not Goofy. No, and there's like I said, you learn some lore about them and stuff, but I still think it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm thinking of. I was talking about things that scared me a lot when I was a kid, stuff like Dampé or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe a kid playing Phantom Hourglass. I played Phantom Hourglass like when I was 18 years old or something. You know, so
I feel like. I don't know, because he's definitely not friendly and doesn't. I feel like if there were an in between like chills and doesn't scare me, I might put him there, because it's like there's a spook factor, but it's not really doing much. But I don't know. Where do you guys want to put him?
I mean, if anything, he's a little intimidating. That might not be the ghost part of him, but I mean, so that could be enough chills, right?
Yeah. I guess so. I'd be okay with it if that's where you want to go.
I don't think he deserves to be doesn't scare me.
Yeah, I think chills.
I wouldn't hang out with him.
Chills.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't hang out with him.
Would not hang.
Yeah, that's the would not hang tier.
Only cool kids can go in that bottom tier.
Yeah, sorry, Boo and King Boss.
It almost has to be a separate. It actually almost has to be a separate would not hang tier, because I definitely hang with Pumpkinhead.
I honestly would also. Yeah, I would hang.
Next Halloween, we'll do ghosts that we would hang out with.
Oh my god.
Ghost second chill.
Oh my god. Corey, it's yours.
It's me. All right, let's do the Poe sisters.
The Poe sisters.
From Ocarina of Time. Named after the Little Women.
I didn't put it in there, but there's also the Poe sisters in Oracle of Ages, right? No, Seasons. The one where you gotta light the lights to get them to stop killing you. There's two of them.
It's just two. They're Poe sisters. That's what they're called.
Yeah, well, their names I think are even like two of the names of the Poe sisters from Ocarina of Time.
Oh, really?
I think it's like Amy and
Yeah.
I don't know. My mind is blanking on them a little bit, but they're actually pretty cool in that game too. But obviously,
Yeah,
doesn't
they're
compare
fun.
to the cool mystique of them
Sure.
in full color 3D Forest Temple. The vibes, you know.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
They are cool.
I like
How
them a lot.
spooky are they?
They
though?
are pretty spooky, to be honest.
Honestly, another thing that kind of freaked me out more when I was younger, obviously, but like with the pictures, the mystery factor also is what helps with this. Of like, you turn around and you look at it and it disappears and laughs at you, and the final
pretty
fight
spooky.
when it's like shivering or crying, you know, the last one you
That
gotta
one
fight,
is-
the purple one.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on here? And like when I first entered that room and just being like, I don't really want to go up to this thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the scariest. I don't know. Maybe
It's
it could be
definitely like on the
top tier.
spookier side. I don't think it would be spooky scary. I could think maybe this would be like our first awe.
This feels like an to me.
Yeah.
If you guys want to do that, that's fine. I wouldn't go
But do you not think the
I think I would-
sisters are scary at all?
No, there's definitely, I think you're both right. There's definitely some spook factor there, but I also feel like there's kind of a little bit of less of like a scary thing and more of kind of like a prankster vibe. Like a prankster ghost kind of thing. Cause each of
Sure.
like the laughing thing, I could see that being a little scary, but that happens multiple times and it's kind of more just like aggravating to me. Like, stay in your dang picture. And then, like, you gotta do one of them, you have to do a little puzzle. The last one is definitely scary. But the other ones feel just a little bit like they kind of like push your lamp over, like knock something off your desk kind of ghost.
So you're telling me if something sitting on your desk just suddenly got flung off and fell onto the floor, rolled across the room, you'd be like, oh, you silly ghost.
You goof. Especially if they laughed afterwards. I'd be like, you prankster, you.
I'd be terrified.
I do get a bit of a prankster vibe, but I think that's still pretty spooky. I don't think they ever go like full goofball vibe, which I think that's what would make them less scary to me.
Mm.
And also, if a ghost ran into your room and threw a puzzle on the ground and was like, "Put this together right now, or I'm out," you'd be pretty freaked out.
And then you can try again.
That'd be so scary.
It's like, hold on, let me rearrange them again.
Get out! I need to I got to pick up the pieces and stuff.
Let me
It's a Rubik's cube.
flip them around. Let me mix it up again.
If you guys want to do then
I want to do
Okay. I disagree, but that's all right.
Well,
whatever.
I think there's other ones because there's like in my mind there's like the top tier spooky, scary, like terrifying ones, and then Oz for like really scary ones. And I don't find them really scary. I find them like woo scary.
I think it just helps for me too, like just the whole feeling of I think they tie so well into the Forest Temple. Like that music is very scary to me, but it does have that. It is a little prankstery in the music, and to me, that adds to the mystique. That adds to the spookiness to me. Like there's some spirits here that want to F with me.
Oh no. Whose turn is it?
I think it's yours, Nico.
That was Corey.
Okay. Well, let's stick with the Poe vibe. Pose.
Pose. Yeah.
So this is pose, and it looks like great pose.
Just trying to get
Aren't
all
those
the
still just
pose in
pose?
there. There's big pose. There's big pose.
There are big pose.
Big pose. Sorry.
Pose actually do have more distinct looks throughout the game, so I tried to represent them all.
I think
they're definitely scary in different games.
Well, I will tell you right now, the Twilight Princess pose legit spooked me.
Those ones are terrifying.
They really are, especially when they're like their bodies like deflate.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's gross.
Those are very spooky.
Because they were first introduced in Ocarina of Time, and I remember even feeling like
No, there's Poes in A Link to the Past.
That's true. There's in the Dark World, right? Okay, that's true. I feel like they sort of took their place for a minute as like the ghost in a lot of games. Even they brought him back, obviously, Guineas and stuff in plenty of the top-down games. But I feel like playing that in comparison, like maybe it's just like it's 3D and there's like voice acting, but they immediately, I think the Poe like laughs and stuff are freaky to me.
They
like,
are scary.
Even from their like first, to me, the Ocarina is like their first big showcase.
That makes sense.
You know, that it was like it set itself apart from the previous ghosts in the game,
especially with like the Poe collector and stuff like that too. Like that's all like it's pretty unsettling.
He's weird.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's pretty freaky.
So where would you put Pose?
Boo? Well, I think Boo, but if we're then factoring Twilight Princess in, I could see those being a little higher.
Yeah, because those Twilight Princess Pose really freaked me out.
They are. On the flip side, the Wind Waker ones aren't very scary.
Oh, okay. So let's go Boo.
Wait,
and then
what would be good with Boo, I think.
The Poe souls that you get in Twilight Princess are from Big Poes. The ones with like the scythe.
I think they're just Poes.
They're Poes, and then there's the ones in Arbiter's Grounds
that are just also Poes that are different.
They just look a little different.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're just Poes that are smelly.
Yeah.
They stink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. They got a stench that you can follow. I'd be cool putting it in Boo, but like headcanon, they're like the top of Boo, if that makes sense. You know.
Oh, I also think there's an asterisk where Twilight Princess Pose. Maybe they're but
I think Pose in general, it all kind of evens out to Boo.
I agree. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Good talk.
Good.
Sweet. So that makes it back to me then.
Goo, it's back to you.
Let's talk about Gomez from Majora's Mask.
Okay.
It was kind of, I wasn't sure if he was a ghost or not.
Basically a ghost vampire.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
His like Japanese name I read was the same as like Death Sword's name in Japan. So I was like, I guess
they're both basically like the Grim Reaper kind of.
Okay. That makes sense.
And that's when we got into like I was thinking about like demons and all this stuff, and I was like, oh no, what am I doing? But yeah, so I think I don't know. I think
would Gomez be a yokai?
yeah. I don't know. I actually don't know how. I think he's like intimidating, like more intimidating than Mutoh. So I think he's at least Boo. And he's a little freaky with the bats and stuff. He's kind of like Castlevania-y, I guess, too.
He is,
being like the Grim Reaper and all. But I don't know if he's got kind of a doofy face. So I don't know if he's like.
He does have a silly design.
I'm surprised, especially playing Majora's Mask being one of your favorites. I thought this would be an instant spooky scary. I think Gomez is one of the scariest guys on this list.
I don't think he's spooky scary.
Okay. He's freaky.
The reason I don't think he's spooky scary is because of his face. He does have a little bit of a doofy
I don't even think
face.
it's doofy. I think it's scary.
Let me Google it. I'll look closely at his face.
It's almost like sharp like a jack-o'-lantern smile, but like deranged almost, and his eyes are like freaky and like.
Are you just like projecting that? Like that's how you've always seen it, or is that actually what it is?
Well, if I've always seen it that way, I think that just feeds into it, that he makes me feel like that.
That's fair.
Even if it's not that. And it's like, I don't know, that he's also one of those bosses where like, you need to use the light arrows, and if you don't realize you need to use the light arrows, you're like, I can't hit this guy, and he's swinging a giant scythe at me, and he's got these bats that make him look huge and dark, like...
He is the reason Aaron Hansen stopped playing Majora's Mask for like 3 years or something like that.
That's true.
So, I mean, he's spooky.
You want to put him... I don't know. You want to put him
if you feel he's lower, we should meet in the middle somewhere. I would have put him instantly, like, right at the top.
I was going to put him in but if you were going to put him in spooky scary, and Goo was saying boo, then
Yeah, let's do.
Sounds good.
Then I guess I was right. I'm just kidding. But I mean,
You're always right, Nico.
I know. Thank you. I think it really just kind of depends on like, I don't know, maybe like your memory. Like for you, he's always been this like really terrifying thing, and for me, I was like, oh, this is a really cool boss, but he's not necessarily scary.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think we had
That's
sort
wild
of
to me.
flip. We had sort of flip reactions with the Poe sisters. You know,
Well,
those
like-
Well,
stood out to me.
That's true.
I think even looking at them side by side, like the Poe sisters look like goofballs, and Gomez looks like he's going to kill everything.
I
True.
feel like it's like how probably too like just with such sometimes with like the simple sort of graphics, it's like how you interpret them. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. It is
Is that-
so dark that
I-
you kind of fill in the space with your own mind.
That's
Well,
fair.
I was like looking at his face. I was like pulling up pictures, and I was like, maybe I just like if I look at it a different way. But he doesn't scare me that much. I think he's cool. Like I think he's a cool boss or a cool mini boss. Like I love him.
It is kind of weird that he's only a mini boss. Jeez,
Yeah,
he's a cool mini boss.
Wow, that's okay.
I think we have
just-
a spooky version of him. That if you
Also
guys
named
stack
after
him up-
Gomez
okay.
Adams. Like that's pretty cool. That's pretty spooky.
True.
All
Is that
right.
mine?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's my turn. Let's do Spookter Inspector.
Spookter and
Minish Cap.
Inspector. I really don't remember them super well.
I don't either. That's why I was looking.
Okay.
I was like, oh, there's like 3 ghosts in Minish Cap.
This was my request. I think Spookter and Spectre are like brothers, and one of them like blocks your way into the Kuko lady's house.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't remember where the other one is, but like, you can fuse kinstones with them, and like they make things happen to the other one or whatever.
Okay.
And they're fun. I think they're
Are
pretty
they-
neat.
Are they
I
scary?
get kind of like prankster vibes. Because I think you talk to the one that's blocking it, and he's basically like, "Ha ha ha! I'm blocking
They
this."
literally just seem like a couple of kids, and then I mean they're wearing little like caps, like they're definitely kids.
Yes.
So
They feel like doesn't scare me to me, similar to Alan and Zelda, where they're just like feel like some guys you'd run into. But I guess I don't know him that well. What do you think, Corey? Are you scared of him?
I think I would put it's like a similar thing maybe to Booze, where like I think they have a little bit more of they have that kind of prankstery thing going on, which is a little bit bumps up the spook level a little bit, but if
they're
not
messing
chills,
with
then I'd say doesn't scare me fits.
that would make sense.
I'm fine with chills. I kind of like keeping it to the cool kids for now. Doesn't scare me.
That works.
Okay. Well, Nico, what do you got?
Gonna go with what's his proper name? The
The Hero
Hero
Shade?
Shade.
Hero Shade. Thank you. Let's do him because I'm like Ocarina of Time Link.
Well, he's a scary guy.
I will say this. The first moment you hop into the little white realms, spooky, mystical, whatever, it's like, holy crap, I have to fight this thing? I just started this game. I don't know anything. This is spooky scary. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to teach you stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. So he's not actually that scary. But he, like, the design itself is scary enough to, like, push him up here. Because he is pretty spooky. But he's your buddy. So I'm like, I really don't know where to put him.
Find his grave.
Yeah.
I feel like he's in chills because it's like a sad story a little bit with
Sure.
Link. He's Link.
Yeah.
He doesn't really scare me, especially when he's like, "I'm gonna teach you how to deflect magic" or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Here's how to deflect with your shield.
I could see chills. I'm okay with that. I don't think he's ever really scared me. I've never found him to be very scary. I've always just been kind of like, oh, whoa.
He's a more
Cool-
cool. Yeah,
crazy.
he's like cooler than
Dead
scary.
Link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to put him in the cool kids club then? Just because he's cool?
I kind of do.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Cool kid.
I think
scare me.
I think he's a little freaky, but I kind of feel like if we're designating this area for cool dudes,
The cool dudes. It's a cool dudes club.
Heck yeah.
Some people are probably really mad. He's probably an S tier for some.
He's not spooky scary.
Okay,
He's a friend.
okay. Let's talk about the nostalgic ghost. He's honestly, when I first played this game, again, this goes back to I was playing it, I was like 7 years old or something. I don't know how old I was, but when this ghost pops up on my screen, I was actually like really freaked out. Because it's like out of all the things in the game, you like are quests you go and like seek out, but here like your progress forward feels like halted, but then it's actually like the way to go through the game, and I just remember being like kind of being like, what's going on, what am I doing, what do I do, it becomes pretty obvious, but I don't know, I think he's a little freaky, and then I think the chill factor comes in that I always find his story a little sad, or at least like touching, so I get a little tear. It's one of my favorite kind of elements of the game. I wouldn't say he's like spooky scary, but I think he's like a little bit,
He has a spook
Chills.
factor for sure.
He does have the spook factor. He is crying a lot though,
That's
I've never really found him to be very spooky at all, actually. But like, I see what you're saying. I kind of wanted to put him in Doesn't Scare Me because I would definitely chill with the nostalgic ghost. He's probably one of my favorite ghosties on this list. But I've always found like, I think he's kind of notorious for being a little bit like, oh, I gotta go do the ghost thing again. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how many times I've had him come on my screen and I've been like, I'm more just like, leave me alone. Like, I'll get there when I get there.
In that own way,
But-
isn't it scary that you have to do that?
But I think I do agree. Like, I've always found his story to be like kind of touching and kind of sweet, but also sad, and that's what I really like about him. But that's never really scared me, so I would put Doesn't Scare Me. But I could see it's definitely like with the jingle because every time you go to a new screen, it's like and he pops back up. I could see someone like a kid being like, there's a ghost chasing me.
Yeah, that's a little spooky.
You can go back in DX and take a photo with him at his grave. So
And
that's
I was actually looking.
the Cool Dudes Club.
Well, what's funny is I was actually looking at his page before this, and I think the caption that the photographer says is, "We'll call this one I was very scared."
That's cute, actually. Oh.
Yeah. What do you think, Miko? I've kind of could go all over the place with this guy, so
Yeah.
I think C or D, but let's let Nico decide.
Well, I'm always right.
Exactly. That's why we're giving you the final
I would
say.
honestly probably say C, because of my first ever memory, like my earliest memory of Nostalgic Ghost, I was like, what is happening? Why is this ghost following me all of a sudden? And like that was definitely enough to be like, how do I get away from this thing? I think that alone was enough.
Oh my God, get off!
Yeah, I'm like, stop being close to me. That was enough to be like, what the heck? So I would say C,
sure.
but also would probably chill. But I'm gonna put him in C.
Chills, but would chill.
Chills, but would chill.
So he's like low C because he's like sitting next to the cool.
He's
kids
somewhere in
table.
between.
Yeah, I could say that.
All right. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Let's go with the famous question mark.
Who received a name in Skyward Sword HD?
In Skyward Sword, yeah.
What was it?
Fianny.
Yeah. So they're different, but they're kind of based on the same thing, which is like
Pretty much
based on an
Japanese.
actual yokai. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghost hand in toilet.
This honestly, they're also different. I feel like the way they're portrayed, but for me, the Majora's Mask one is what I remember most. Again, because I was just playing it as a kid, and you go in there, and this hand pops out, and
It's like, whoa.
yeah,
Like, why?
and honestly, and you never, like it has a punchline, which is funny that it just like flushes itself or whatever, just funny. But it's a little scary. I don't know. The ghost definitely is the one that's like the ghost hand.
I think they're both pretty scary.
Honestly, yeah.
Not like super scary, but like pretty scary. Especially in Skyward Sword, if you like go through with the whole side quest and stuff, and like Colin gets rejected, and it's like stroking Colin while he sleeps, and it's like, oh.
It's so creepy.
Yeah.
It makes me very uncomfortable.
It's messed up too, because every time you go back and talk to Colin in the daytime, he's like miserable.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm having nightmares. What did you do to me?
It kind of ruins Colin's life.
Yeah. A little
What do
scary.
you think? Ah?
I could go with ah.
I'm okay with ah.
Okay.
Also, the design of like Majora's Mask 1 is like
very scary.
Kind of horrifying.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like,
it's this, it's this full
I think
arm, just like.
Appearance and aesthetic wise, I think Majora's Mask 1 is definitely pretty scary.
Oh, yeah.
And I gotta say, if I walked into the bathroom and there was a gross, gangly hand poking out of it, I would go, ah!
That's a good point. I think if I sat on a toilet and there was a hand inside of it, I would not be happy.
That's bad news.
Interesting. Yeah, that shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Yeah, wait a second. That's not supposed to be there. Who do I want to go with?
There's a lot of good choices here.
Yeah, good choices, definitely.
It's packed roster.
I mean, I kind of want to go with Phantom Ganon.
Okay.
Because I'll be honest.
This is another one where I was like, is this a ghost?
Well,
a
Phantom is a ghost.
Phantom.
Yeah.
So
is he like is that like a ghost version of a different dead? I don't know. Maybe
I think it's like
from a different dimension or something.
It seems to be like more of like an apparition that Ganon is able to create.
Yeah.
You know,
he does say he's gonna like send it back to somewhere.
It almost feels like it's a Poe that he's been able to like manipulate and control or something like that.
Yeah.
It almost feels like that's what like Phantom Ganon would be.
He's made it take his image.
There are a ton of versions of Phantom Ganon. Most commonly, it's the, or I guess numbers wise, we most commonly see like the Wind Waker style Phantom Ganon, which is still pretty for that like game style is still pretty freaky. But this one, the Ocarina of Time Phantom Ganon, is like honestly. That took me the first time I played Ocarina of Time, I remember this. This fight took me forever because I could not figure out what to do. I mean, I was a kid, but like it was scary.
I think the boss fight adds a little bit to the spook factor because of the whole
the painting
in and out of the portraits, and you're like spinning around. Where is it? Where's the real one?
Yeah,
I think that's kind of scary. Design wise, it's kind of just like Ganondorf with a mask. Which is pretty. He's scary, but
I always felt
I don't know. What do you think?
Because he like pulls. You see him and you're like, oh, it's Ganondorf, and he like pulls his face off.
The face off.
Feels like this demonic sort of face. I always thought that was pretty spooky. And as a kid,
go ahead.
I was thinking more of like in the intimidating sense, similar to Phantom Ganon and Wind Waker, but I think this one's even a little more spooky. But I think it's got a lot of spook factor, and then it's just like really like, oh crap, I gotta fight this guy type thing.
It is also worth noting that in Breath of the Wild, if you wear the Phantom Ganon armor, it spooks everybody that you walk by.
They're all spooked.
They're all spooked, and it's based on this
science
design.
Doesn't lie. Yeah,
the science doesn't lie. Everyone is spooked by Phantom Ganon.
So where do you guys want to put it?
I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah, I was gonna suggest ah.
I could go with
pretty ah.
Yeah, it's pretty to me.
Yeah, pretty ah. Feels pretty ah.
It's just like ah. That's yeah.
I'm down with
Good
that.
job. I like it. All right, Goo.
I want to talk about one that's near and dear to me, which is Darmani.
Oh, I thought I was gonna. Okay, Darmani.
Because this I've recalled all these ghost stories of Zelda that I remember as a kid, but this one I think it's less to do with maybe his specific spook factor, maybe the setting, but I just have a very vivid memory of playing Majora's Mask as a kid, staying up past my bedtime, like trying to play so my parents can't hear me playing, and it's the middle of the night or whatever.
That's spooky.
And I go out and there's just this ghost who doesn't say anything to you, you know, and at first it's just a shadow, and then eventually he's, you know, you see him and you got to kind of follow him, and that just really freaked me out. I don't know, so it's like it's really stuck with me. So I don't know if you've had a similar experience. I feel like maybe it depends on your age, but that was very impressionable on me, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. He's
I
definitely.
don't know where I'd put him, but pretty high in my mind.
I think he's pretty high on the list. He's even like visually he's pretty scary because he's super intimidating and
Yeah.
he looks scary, and
Especially
like you do
with
the
the-
transformation mask thing and it's really, really scary.
Yeah.
But like I've always kind of just associated Darmani with his story and like the whole tragedy of it. So I've always thought of it as more of like a really sad ghost thing, because like you never really feel like
Mhm.
I don't know. It feels like one of those things where like a ghost gets left behind because of lingering regrets or whatever. You never feel.
Mhm.
I never
Yeah.
personally felt like threatened or anything by Darmani. I was never like I'm in danger because of this big scary ghost. But that being said,
Sure.
he definitely appears really scary.
I mean, yeah, he's got a giant gash across his stomach.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
For me,
Pretty
the
spooky.
emotion factor plays in a little bit just because it is tied to why they're there, you know?
Mhm.
I always, in my mind when I was a kid, it was like he was as spooky as some of the ghosts as like when I saw like The Sixth Sense as a kid. It's like some of the ghosts in that aren't like they're not trying to hurt anybody, but like just the tragedy
It's
of
still
what
scary.
happened to them.
Yeah.
And I guess like a lot of times they'll be like really freaky looking, but it adds to it to me like the tragic backstory, because it just makes me think of like the haunting, the suffering
Yeah.
is so much more
And that is scary.
intense. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that partially helped stick it in my mind and make it more memorable and like freak me out a little bit.
I kind of want to put him in That's where
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking the
where
same
I'm
thing.
thinking.
I'm down with that.
Majora's Mask is a freaky game, dude.
This is a freaky game.
We've only talked about ghosts. We haven't talked about other creatures, you know. There's
Yeah,
a lot of
right?
creatures.
We haven't even factored re-deads into this.
Yeah.
Come on.
Jeez. That's a spooky game.
All right.
Well, Corey, which one are you
I'm
going to
move on. I'm gonna pick that black square right next to the red one.
Yeah, this one. Okay, so which
Yeah, that one.
what do you think about
Ooh, the void.
the void?
The void is scary.
Terrifying, honestly.
Death Sword is I personally I would this is another shoot it straight to the top for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Death Sword is
Yeah.
terrifying.
This thing's so scary.
It's like
Oh,
Probably one of the scarier bosses in the whole series.
Yeah.
Probably.
honestly.
it's
Especially the presentation of it too, because like you walk in and it's the sword in the ground and
Mhm.
it's clearly been sealed with like the ritualistic like demon sealing
Mhm.
things, like what are those things called? The Japanese stickers?
The prayer stickers, or what? I don't remember what they call them.
Yeah, something.
But I know what
And
you mean.
they're-
Yeah.
It's sealed and then it breaks out of it and it's just like a floating sword and you're like, oh, the sword is scary in itself. It's a scary looking sword. And then you go into the dog sense mode and it's like this horrifying demon thing.
Demon
That's
goat.
huge.
Ugh.
Ugh,
It's horrifying, honestly.
yeah.
A very
Yeah,
cool
we
boss
don't-
fight.
we don't need a a backstory. We don't need anything.
Nope.
It's just really freaky.
That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough to be what it is.
Yeah, I feel like that makes it even scarier.
Because
And
it's
the name you're looking for is Ofuda.
Fuda.
Yeah, yep, that's it.
Cool.
Yes.
And I think it's the nice thing about this is that it didn't need the backstory because there was really good storytelling with just the environment, like you said.
Yeah.
The way you went in and you could tell that this was something evil that had been sealed away, and broke free from its chains, and you have to put it back. It's also sort of in my mind, like it's the Okami boss for the game. Like, if you've played Okami, this is like, that's what this is. This is the Okami boss for Twilight Princess. And people compare the two games a lot for obvious reasons. And I mean, this is a big one of those reasons for me. But overall, terrifying. Spooky, scary, no questions.
Yeah, the only knock against it is that the fight isn't really that hard.
It's not hard, but it is like enough
I
to
think
be
the
like,
fight is even still pretty scary.
it's still cool.
because he disappears back and
spins
forth, and you have to like jump up as a wolf and like do the rip into him thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That is kind of cinematic too, when you're like, and he's just like,
Yeah.
So,
All right, spooky, scary.
boom.
It's
Spooky,
not
scary.
a P. It's close to a P.
It's a
That's
very
P.
Close.
Very even list.
We got the Cool
Yeah,
Kids
that's
Club
good.
down at the bottom. We got I don't know. I think this is actually, even just looking at it visually, I see the list getting scarier as we go up.
Ooh.
Are there any adjustments at all that you want to make? Or are we good?
I'm happy with it. I know we didn't all agree, but I feel like we got to a good place.
Yeah. I would say this is pretty solid.
Are you okay with it, Corey?
Let's lock it in then.
We're locking
It's locked
it in.
in. Ching!
Shing. Beautiful.
Let's put it to rest, so to say.
Oh no.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peas.
Oh no. We can't have a P-shaped tier every time, okay?
This counts. This is close enough.
Do you disagree with us? People in the comments, do you agree with us? Let us know. Make your own. Share it with us. Put it in the
better agree
ZD
with
Discord.
Is there a ghost we forgot?
Oh no.
Let us know in
There
the
are
comments.
several.
There are lots
many
of
ghosts we
there
forgot.
there are many ghosts that could have been added, but this was perfect length. This was great. Very good selection.
Ah!
Oh, the lights have returned.
Blinded by the light.
Oh no.
We're safe.
Well, thank you so much.
All right.
I had a great time with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, this is great. We'll see everybody.
Of course.
We'll see everybody in the next one. Till
Yeah.
then. Bye-bye.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.
Did I scare you?